Hello friends, how are you doing? And I hope you really are having a great and fun time. So today we will do the CBSE pattern question exercise on the morphology of the flowering plants. Okay, we will go ahead with the first one. What is cymose inflorescence? Right. What is the cymose inflorescence? See what is happening here, we have said, what have we said? We have said that there are two types of inflorescence, one is a racemose and the other one is the cymose type of inflorescence. Racemose and cymose type of inflorescence, and it is the cymose type of inflorescence where terminally it ends in a flower, So what we say here in cymose inflorescence, the terminal stem or the branch, okay, the terminal stem or branch ends in a flower. This is just a one mark question, so no need to bang your head on this, right. So in a cymose inflorescence, the terminal stem or branch ends in a flower, absolutely right. We move on to the next question. What are hostoria? Yes. Now these hostoria, these are special structures, okay, these are present in the parasitic plants and fungi, and what these do, these basically, you will tell me that plants and fungi are almost the same thing, but we have already seen the 5 types of the classification given by the 5 kingdom classification given by Whittaker. So what we will write here is the hostoria, okay, the hostoria are special structures, okay, the hostoria are special structures present in the parasitic plants. The word parasitic is very important. Present in the parasitic plants and fungi, present in the parasitic plants and fungi. The hostoria are special structures present in the parasitic plants and fungi, and these, okay, and these will absorb nutrition or nourishment, okay, from the host. So the hostoria are special structures present in the parasitic plants and fungi, and these will absorb nutrition or nourishment from the host. This is what hostoria. So these are the special structures, right. Moving on to the next question, pick out, okay, first let me rub this. Pick out of the plants with palmate type of compound leaves from the list given below: bitter gourd, rose and silk cotton, and the correct option is silk cotton, having the palmate type of compound leaves. We have already talked about in this type that pinnate, palmate and all that, simple and compound leaves, so we will not go into the discussion. If you want to know, you can get back into the chapter. Silk cotton is the one which has the palmate type of the compound leaves, right. Palm type will be there, the unicostate, the multicostate and all that we have already discussed. Moving on to the next question, give any two reasons to justify that onion bulb is a modified stem. Yes, the onion which we eat, okay, is a modified stem. Onion bulb is a modified stem, okay. Onion bulb is a modified stem as it has right. First of all, there will be fleshy and scaly leaves which store, okay, which store food and what we eat. Fleshy and scaly leaves which store food, right. The fleshy and scaly leaves which store food, and hence this is the food, this is the food what we are eating while having onion, what we are eating while having onion, right. So, fleshy and scaly leaves which store food, and hence this is the food which we eat while having onion. And the second reason which we can give for this is that yes, these have what? These have the terminal okay, these have the terminal and axillary buds, okay. These have the terminal and axillary buds present on them, okay. So, these have the terminal and axillary buds present on them, and that is why we said that yes, onion bulb is a modified stem, okay. Why? Because the stem have leaves, and that is why we said, right, the stem have scaly and fleshy leaves over here, okay. The leaves are fleshy and scaly and have food, and that is what the food we eat. Yes, you should be in the best of, should be happy while you are studying. We move on to the next question. What is the difference between a hypogynous and an epigynous? Yes. Okay. What is the difference between the hypogynous and the epigynous? So, what we write here, this is the hypogynous and this is the epigynous condition. Okay. Now, what we see in the hypogynous condition, hypo means lower and gynous over here is standing for the gynoecium or the ovary. So, what do we mean by this here? Hypo, the floral whorls are inferior to the gynoecium. Okay, the floral whorls are inferior to the gynoecium. That means we can say inferior to the gynoecium, that is the ovary, or we can say inferior to the ovary. So, we can say here the ovary is superior, the ovary is superior. Right. However, what we see here, epigynous, the floral whorls, right, here it is inferior, are superior to the ovary, are superior to the ovary. So, what does it mean? That is the ovary, hence the ovary is inferior in these conditions, the ovary is inferior. Okay, the hypogynous and the epigynous. Give two external features on the basis of which rhizomes are classified as modified underground stems. Okay. So, the features in which on the basis of which rhizomes, okay, the features on the basis of which rhizomes are classified as modified underground stems are, okay, the features on the basis of which rhizomes are classified as modified underground stems are: number 1, the stem body, the body is prostrate solen, right, the body is prostrate and solen and running horizontally on the ground, okay, and running horizontally on ground. Okay. So, the body is prostrate and swollen and running horizontally on the ground. And secondly, what do we see? Presence of distinct nodes and internodes. Okay, presence of distinct nodes and internodes which will be present in the modified underground stem, that is the rhizome. We move on to the next question. What is phyllotaxy? What is phyllotaxy? So, phyllotaxy is the arrangement of leaves on the stem. Okay. This is the arrangement, okay, this is the arrangement of leaves, this is the arrangement of leaves on the stem. This may be alternate or opposite. So, in case of the alternate arrangement, what we will see that there will be leaves at every node, at every node oppositely. However, when we are talking about the opposite arrangement, we will see that leaves will be present on both the nodes opposite to each other. So, if this is a stem, we will see, and these are the nodes. Say take 2 examples, okay, these are the 4 nodes. In the alternate arrangement, we will see, right, like this, alternatively it is present. However, in the opposite arrangement, we will see that like this. Right, and that is what we mean by this phyllotaxy. So, you can put this in words and this will frame your answer. Mention the 4 different conditions of the stamens, right. When we are talking about the different conditions of the stamen, we will see the first one as the monoadelphous condition, right. So, monoadelphous condition. Now, monoadelphous condition is a condition. Mono means one, adelphous means many stamens are joined here, many filaments are joined here, in fact, not the stamen. So, here filaments join to form one group. Okay, filaments join to form one group. This is the monoadelphous. Then we can talk of the diadelphous condition. Diadelphous condition. Now, what we see in the diadelphous condition, that filaments join to form 2 groups. Filaments join to form 2 groups. Third, polyadelphous, and here the filaments join to form many groups. Okay, filaments join to form many groups. Filaments join to form many groups. And then the syngenaceous condition. Syngenaceous condition. Now, what is happening in the syngenaceous condition? What is happening in the syngenaceous condition? Here the filaments are free, but the anthers are fused. Okay, here the filaments are free, but anthers are fused. Here filaments are free, but the anthers are fused, and hence these are the 4 different conditions of the stamen, right. Then why is the flower considered to be a modified shoot? Absolutely. Why is a flower considered as a modified shoot? See, basically we saw that, or you can say better a condensed shoot. See, what we say, a flower has 4 whorls. In a shoot, what we see, there are nodes, right, there are nodes, and at each node there will be leaves and all these things, say the branches are there and all the other things are there. Now, what is happening in, say, and what is a flower? What is a flower? In a flower we say that yes, this is the stalk of the flower, isn't it? The stalk of the flower, and we see, I'm so sorry, we say that yes, this is the stalk of the flower, and right, these, so when we take this, right, and we say this is the stalk of the flower, this is the the receptacle or the thalamus, we can say thalamus, and this is the stalk of the flower called the pedicel, right. These are the sepals, isn't it, and we say that yes, in the center there will be the ovary, the filament, the ovary, the style and the stigma, and here there will be the the anthers and the filament, and here there will be the the petals, isn't it. So, what we say, there are 4 whorls, this is the sepal, this is the petal, right, this is the androecium, and this is the gynoecium. Now, they say, they consider that okay, if this is say the stem, say the the ovary would have been here and the stigma would have been here, say the next whorl would have been here, what, the anthers, say the petals and all would have been here. Now, what are they doing? They are compressing this, from the top, right, they are compressing this from the top. So, what it becomes, right, this becomes a little broad over here, and all these whorls will come at the top here, okay. So, these, isn't it, say this is the sepal, so this sepal will come here, these will come here and so on, and that is why we say that the flower is a modified shoot, that if you modify the shoot, if you compress the shoot, then this top part will become broad and thick, called the thalamus or the receptacle, and on the top will be all the 4 floral whorls, and that is why we say that the flower is a modified shoot. So sorry. And now we move on to the next question, that is, how are the seeds forms beautiful? Absolutely beautiful. So, see what is happening here. First of all, there is pollination. Okay, you have to describe what is pollination. Transfer of pollen grain, transfer of pollen grain, right, from anther to stigma, right. Then we see that the pollen grain germinates and there is formation of 2 nucleus, one is the generative nucleus and the other is a tube nucleus, right. Pollen germinates, pollen grain germinates and forms what? One is the tube nucleus, right, tube nucleus, and the other one is the generative nucleus, right, the generative nucleus. Now, the tube nucleus will form the what? The pollen tube, right, all through the style it will go, and this generative nucleus later on divides into 2 male gametes. Now, this pollen tube, yes, this pollen tube can have 3 ways to enter the embryo sac. It can enter the embryo sac either by the micropyle called the porogamy, it can enter from the integument side called as the mesogamy, or it can enter from the chalazal end called the chalazogamy, but the most common is the porogamy, where it enters from the micropylar end, right. So, the moment the pollen tube enters into the micropylar end, what happens? The 2 male gametes spread apart, and then what we see is the male gamete, one male gamete will fuse with the female gamete to form the diploid zygote, these, okay, the ovules form the seeds and the ovary forms the fruit and the ovary wall forms the fruit wall. Now there is something called as the parthenocarpinol, which we have already discussed. So, you know, this is how the seeds are formed, and friends, you know, I hope you have understood this. Any more doubts, you can always come back to me. The time we meet again, a very goodbye from this side. Thank you.